Hi. Onegaishimasu.
Onegaishimasu.
So we'll just get started with a little bit of loosening. Just playing this gets a little bit with the feet, so play like we did yesterday with basically changing the base. So just play with kind of narrow feet. And keep going. And also play with a little bit wider. So just play between these kind of three where you've got kind of all narrow and wide bases. Play a little bit with it. Working the feet. And just working on this vertical. Wider. Okay, just playing with the arms up. So just kind of raising them up. You can also look up, watch the hands a little bit, watch the ceiling. And then just let them drop down. Just let them hang through. And just raising them up, shaking them a little bit. Don't feel even though they're raised, there's a sense of them being very heavy. As if all the tissues, all the blood, everything's kind of draining down. But just feel, even though you're raised, really a sense of kind of heaviness in the knees. And just let them drop through. Keep going. And just one more time, just raise them up. And then drop. Good. And then just come down with the hips. Really open the hands out to the ground. Release the body. Actually try and feel you can release the neck, the head, and the shoulders as well. Just feel everything pull down. Just a few seconds. Just one more, the body's going to fold forward, drop down, release. Breathe as you do it. Just start to pass this kind of vertical through the spine. So working with the hands a little bit in the ground, not too much weight in the fingers. But just play with, basically releasing more and more the upper body. Kind of very light up down, kind of very much like a spring through the body. And just feel more and more how it gets pulled down, down, down. And just keeping the hands or the fingertips just in contact with the ground, and just play with the kind of little bit of a circular movement through the hips and out through the shoulders. So try and feel the hips create the circular motion, obviously with the contact with the feet, and at the same time, try and feel that you kind of communicate that into the shoulders, and that the hands will follow that movement. Just feel, work with basically circling the hips. Yes, it's into the shoulders, so really feel the shoulders opening. So the shoulders feel like a kind of open gate. They should kind of just let the movement through and pass it into the hands. Straight back into the ground. And then just see if you can reverse it. So if you're working one way, just so that you can change the direction. And we're really trying to get the connection in the hip first. And then just bringing the hands a little bit further off the ground and just keep the circle going. And again, really try and feel the shoulders released and each time opening. Shoulders should feel totally loose and very mobile. And again, just try and reverse the direction. Do a few one way and then reverse it out. Good. And then really to open the shoulders out, just start to swing the arms side to side. So they're basically going to cross the chest and then open out. So you're closing into the chest, opening them out. And start to really now feel that you activate the knees, the hips. Everything's going to start to kind of swing towards the ground. Open up the hands even more. Just feel the weight of the arms as they swing across the body. And as they open out to the sides, feel that the body gets kind of pulled up. Starts to get pulled up more and more. Keep the knees released. Keep the breathing going. And then just start to work up to the vertical. Take it nice and slow. Feel the legs. Just start to kind of pull the body up more and more. So you've got quite a dynamic movement up and down. And to the sides. And once you kind of reach the vertical, just keep it opening, walking through the knees, shoulders across the body. Next one, kind of closing the body open. Good. Just take a little bit now. The hands, you're basically going to take one hand up, one hand down. You're going to stretching them a little bit up, a little bit down. With the spine, the center basically in the middle, anchoring the arms. Also feel you can play also with the elbow. So just feel like you can, the main thing is with the shoulders opening out, the hand's going to follow. So you can also do this just with the elbows in a way. Yes. I'm just taking different positions, different heights, the elbows, the arms, the hands. That's it. Good. And then just take it into a sideways move. Just trying to mobilize the spine. And really feeling the weight you can press into one leg and to the other. That's it. So they're just working with the arms a little bit, as if someone's kind of drawing you out to the side. Trying to really lengthen this whole side of the body. Lengthen out. Lengthen out. Like the close end, the close arm, the same side gets kind of. That's it. Yeah, good. Good. And then imagine the opposite side gets pulled out, so it basically gets like this, and then the body will kind of come into a kind of spiral through forward. Just play now with the feeling that the opposite hand gets pulled, and the body's going to go into kind of spiral pattern. Once, if you've got this, think about this, just doing it in a kind of lateral way. So just there, just there. And then once you're kind of comfortable with it, start to move towards the front. Get kind of drawn out to the front. And drawn out to the front. And just really listening to the body. And when you're kind of comfortable with that, just feel you can go towards the back. So feel that the arm gets rolls up over the leg. Your body probably finds this quite familiar. This is like any kill through the whole body. Good. Don't come up and it's too much. Good. And then just center the body. Play a little bit with the base. So try a wider base. Go into a full rotation. Arms nice and loose. And also play with a kind of normal shoulder width posture. And then play also with a slight smaller base. Just play within these bases. The weight of the body's just going to drop into the base each time. Good. You start to feel now you can cast the arm out a little bit. Moves up to the shoulder, so to the hip, to the ribcage, maybe to the knee. Just feel you can kind of pass it out. That's it. Good. Very good. Good. And the last one, just working it up. You might find it kind of nice in the morning also to kind of hold, just come into the position, fully close, fully close, fully close, fully close, and then fully open. And then come back into close. Oi. And then start to make a little bit more fluid. Really try and feel that you basically pass the movement from the feet through to the hips, all the way through the spine and then out into the hands. So just really get a feel for that. Basically the organization of the movement as it passes through the body. So you're going in and out from the ground, hips, spine, and then the hands, and then out, back down, still. That's it. And just depending on how your body feels, just start to basically move it in different directions. You've got the kind of clear vertical, and then just feel that you can just feel the body and feel where it kind of wants to go. So one side more than the other. So. Good. And last one, just to kind of connect the arms in, just work with one side, just on the center. And just play really loose with the arm. So you feel kind of dead, nothing really in the arm, and then just play with basically swinging the arm a little bit. It's a little bit more active. And just really feel the hands connecting into the hip work. That's it. Good. And then just change hands as you feel. You're trying to loosen the shoulder up. And really try and feel the shoulders open so that again it can kind of pass the movement of the hip through to the hand. And just feel what it's like a little bit to kind of lock the shoulders. If I go into tension with the shoulder, the arm just also kind of, something stops. It's like I just cut the connection off at the shoulder. It just kind of stops. Just kind of stops. And then just feel that you can release that. Release it. So you always have this kind of feeling of like there's space in the joint. And never really closing. Yeah.
Good. And we'll just work with these swings. So working shoulders down, just straight into it. Go to one side, casting the arms out, front and back. And again, really trying to connect the hips to the hands. So let's do a few one way, and then change direction. Good, and then from here we just drop into a vertical. Just swinging through. Feel the whole body sink down. Especially now feeling the connection between the elbows and the hips. Feel that the elbows get kind of drawn out and raised up from the hip work. Good. A few more. Nice, nice, nice. Good. Great. Good. Okay, good. We just do a little bit for the shoulders. So just across the front. Right, chin open right up. And change. Okay, up to the top, just taking the wrist. Nice and gently drawing the arm across the back. You feel quite flexible, so you can do this in a little bit of a pulse. Not too hard. On the other side. And then again, just explore a little bit more on the whole body through the movement. Really opening this line of the body out all the way through the shoulders. Arms and sides. Stretch it up everywhere. Good. Taking the hands to the back. Pulling across the body. And change. Okay. Taking the fingers at the back, stretching up through the chest. Keeping a nice sense of length through the head. And release it. Come a little bit higher with the arms. Keeping the shoulders nice and heavy. And release it. And then just come a little bit wider with the legs and just as far as it's comfortable. Tilt from the pelvis and then just stretch up again. All the way, if you can, to the ground. Just feel that the weight of the body is going to help you. Just open the shoulders a little bit more. Keep breathing as you do it. And then just release the hands and bring them to their feet. It's just, again, just releasing through the lower back. Opening the shoulders out so that we can really
take the feet. Nice and slowly, just walking the hands forward. Just until you get into the kind of fingertips and feel that the hips are going to pull back. As if someone's behind you pulling the hips. But I'm going to kind of cling a little bit into the ground with the fingers. Just open, extend. Especially nice for the spine, but also good for the shoulders. Just opening, lengthening. And last one, just put the hand down onto the ground, raise up the other arm. I'm going to do this kind of big rotation, opening out. And then just change sides each time. Raise right up. Really creating length through the whole shoulders. Good. Nice and slowly, bringing the hands back to the center, bringing the feet together. Just one forward, just towards the ground. The knees shouldn't be tight, so if you need to bend the knees a little bit, release the head. And just start to feel you can engage the knees, engage through the pelvis, the hands start to draw up to the toes. Feel that you can fully engage the pelvis in the center, and then just start to kind of pull the arms up, all the way up through the spine, all the way up to the knees now. And then as you come up, you'll find that they just open out, and go to the side of the body, and just come back, right backwards into the vertical. That's good. Shake the hands, shake the feet. A little bit forward, a little bit of rotating, Bollywood style. A little bit rotating this way. Rolling the arms. Centering and go to the way. And really feel the weight of the body's going to kind of impact into the ground. And more ground the feet. Spring through the knees. Hips drain down. Chest, shoulders, everything's kind of open. And just slow the movement down. Dum, 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 dum. Okay, and we'll go to Bokken again. So take out Bokken. Okay. Okay, we'll start nice and slow. Just come straight into ZENGO GIRI. So just kind of really take your time with it, nice and slow. Focusing and then rotating to the back. Real slow and really focusing on the grounding of the body. So keep the focus nice and light. Just allow this kind of loosened structure, especially in the upper body, hopefully, just to be resting on the lower body, which should hopefully feel heavy and relaxed towards the ground. Nice and slow. Good. Oh, hello. That's nice. Nice.
Okay, just focus on one thing, which relates to the rotation. Most of you got all the cuts quite nice, grounded. As you do the rotation, there's a tendency to go into contraction through the arm. So there's a feeling of kind of watching the sword, and then this kind of everything becomes kind of small. So think in the rotation. It's a little bit someone's behind you and they call your name. They go Michael, and I do this. So I do like this, but I don't do kind of like this. So think about someone just behind you, just that, and they call you and you go whoa, through the movement. So everything just rotates through to the person that way. So feel that motion. If you think about it, we normally act like this. We think in terms of the head. Someone calls your name and you maybe do this, like this. I'm not really that concerned. The person, whatever. So, but think in terms of a real shock. Someone calls your name and you don't know they're behind you, so you do like this. So actually, what goes first is the center, because the center will basically go like this. What's going on? My whole body will do the rotation. So think about basically in a kind of it should be a shock to the system a little bit, but I want to get away from the idea of the head. Kind of creating my movements and get towards much more the feeling the center rotates out. So just get this kind of feeling. The center is going to kind of rotate through the whole movement. Give it a try. That's it. Nice. Yeah, good. And hopefully through all this kind of connection loosening work, the bokken should just follow. You shouldn't really have to think about it too much. It should just kind of come with you. Yeah, good. That's it, Caroline. Great. That's it. Oh, we got it. Great. Very good. There we go. Nice. Good. Yeah, that's it. Very nice. Okay, we've not done it in a while, so we'll go to SHIHO. So just stick into 4. And again, try and feel the same kind of way. You've got a much more difficult turn now. So you've got this, the feeling the whole body just goes into the toe. And then from here, you've got this whole rotation where you're going to go all the way through this way. And then all the way back. So just focusing now really on the third rotation. Or that's really the difficult, that's the new part. Just feel the whole body can create the movement. There's that, and then all the way through. See videos where Saito Sensei does it, and you go, "Oh, this guy can really move." So you're looking for something very, very, very efficient, but also quite a complex movement. Nice. Nice. Oh. Oh. Nice. Very good. Nice. Nice. And just for the sake of balance, just start the movement now in the left side. Find the back. Cut down first the left, and then come to the right. Down to the left again, and to the right. So SHIHO GIRI, just now on the left side. Oh. Okay, good. Good. We'll just start with number 2, and then we'll take that also into a ZENGO, and then maybe into a SHIHO. Just do this nice and slow, so rolling back, raising the sword, really anchoring everything in the hips. Find the back, and find the forward. Back, nice and slow. Oh. Okay, so because we find the back in this movement just before the cut, there's sometimes a tendency, or what can tend to happen is like this, the body goes into a kind of crunch mode again, and then before the cut, because I'm actually going into an active movement, so I'm probably thinking about the cut before I do it, and the body goes into goes into this. So just try this method, here, like this, and then from here, just really towards the back without moving forward. I'm just going to ground into the front foot. Really feel that you release the shoulders, especially, and then bring the hip this way. That's the tip. It's nice and slow. Basically adding another step. So just come in here, find the back and just rotate through the body. Now the body should feel like it's grounding all the way through, especially now focusing on the shoulders, the neck. Just watch for this kind of tension in the neck. So release it. You're basically looking for this kind of column feeling that you get in number 1. So you've got this kind of column, and then the hips press through there, find the ground. Just add this extra step. It doesn't actually exist in the movement, but nice just to feel the body can drain down. Press it this way. Just give it a try. That's Good. And it should look almost, if I'm watching, it should look like like your screen freezes. So it should have that quality where it looks like, are they still moving? It should have that kind of quality. It should look like there's a kind of freeze. Just watch for, in this case, there's a thing when I'm not really in balance. I probably show it as well. So there's a thing like, and then a kind of creeping through the root, and then a cut. But in this case, really try and separate the root so you really get a sense of stillness. So you got stillness and then stillness. So totally comfortable. A little bit in the back foot. But just feel you're totally still. And then bring the hips through this way. So feel a little bit like someone just presses pause on the move. Here, there. And then drag it through this way. Just give it a try. That's it. Good. That's it, exactly. That's it. Yeah. Good. Nice. Yes. Good. Okay, just come back to the kind of normal Suburi and just really focus now on this basically falling into a triangle with the feet. It's quite, I'll show from this way. It's quite tempting in this case not to really do anything with the hips, but the hips do a kind of like train tracks. But really feel in this case that this movement, the hip's gonna roll back, and in this movement, the hip's gonna roll back forward this way. So really feel there's really a mobilization in the hip, especially the front hip goes back. Yeah, and then really presses forward into the hammy. So just play a little bit with mobilizing the hips. There. Take the focus a little bit away from the shoulders, the arms, the sword, and really feel the hips. There. That kind of feeling. Mobilize. Especially feel you can really mobilize the front hip. Doing this kind of backwards move and then this forwards rolling press. Yeah. Good. Nice. Right, so we'll take it into a ZENGO movement. So you're going to find the back, you press the hip in here, come to this position, and then really you're going to rotate to the left side. So you're going to rotate, spiral up into the kamae, find the back, find the cut. So you can do this 2 times, or you can just keep going with it. So just play a little bit, again, really emphasizing the hip work, rolling back, find the cut, and then really spiral up into the kamae. Find the cut. Spiral up. Find the cut. Spiral up. Find the cut. That's right. Oh. Nice. Oh. Push. Good. Okay, so we're going to try 4 directions now. This needs us different footwork so than the okay. So you're going to come back. This is the same. Find the right side. Rotate. Find the right side. Now, normally what you would do is rotate the right foot to the left. In this case, you're going to keep the right foot down, and you're going to rotate the left foot, and then find this move. So I just want you to practice this footwork. So if you think about the normal ZENGO is normally on the left side, and I take the front foot and I draw it across this way. In this case, what you want to do is always keep the right foot forward. So in this case, the right foot is forward, and then what you're going to do is take the back foot out and roll through this way, and then find this way. So just nice and slow, and just try first of all without the bokken. Just go the right foot is forward, and then you're going to really rotate through the whole back side and rotate out to this 3/4. You just come back, right side, left side all rotates out this way, and then this way. a really complicated turn. Give it a try. Very tricky to do in a way grounded and balanced, even with no sword work. Just this kind of pivoting here. Yeah, good. Good. Okay, and then just start to bring the footwork in, bring the sword work into it without cutting. Just feel that you kind of engage to the hip to the sword, and then just feel that the whole body passes over, and then just comes over, as if you're kind of coming just back into Kamae. Feel you really ground through the right foot, and then release it. Just comes over, and nice and light. Just feel the body come really mobilize through the whole movement. This way.
Michael, is it 180 degrees or 270 degrees?
It's 270. Yeah, it's a 3/4. So if you start to the front, you're going to end up, or if I start to the front, I'm going to end up facing this way.
Hey, thanks.
It's a 3/4. Yeah, that's it. Okay, good. Play a little bit with the connection with the sword. Just let it follow the body. Yeah, that's it. So. Good. Okay, and then just see if you can bring the cut into it. So your right side forward, you're engaged in the hip, and then feel the whole body does this move, this, and then over to the back. And you finish on the right side. So it's this, engage to the right, left side comes in, really mobile through the whole body. Right side forward, left side comes in, and grab through the movement. Not so easy. See? Yeah, good. Okay. So. Good. Yeah. That's it. Good. And then just see if you can basically bring this all together. So just working with 4 directions, coming back, cutting all the time on the right, rotating in, cutting on the right, rotating through, cutting on the right, rotating to the back, cutting on the right. Just try this out. Every time you're going to cut the right side, first one comes back, second one's rotating to the back, third one's when you make this left side movement, and then the last one rotating again to the back. Good. Yeah. This is much more complicated than the ZENGO gig. See if you can access this feeling of basically the whole body's going to make the rotation. So again, get this kind of quality where it's as if someone calls your name. You really got this kind of quality the whole body wants to kind of engage in the direction. You're really rotating from the center point. And it comes into that kind of position. And use the sword base as a focus on the center. So it's the sword base reflection of what's happening in the center. So just listen to what happens. Through the sword. Whoosh. Nice. Okay, good. So that's basically using like a Shiomaruchi cut. So this kind of cut and then rotating through this kind of vertical line. Now, basically open this out, you're going to look at it with a Yokomaruchi cut. So you're going to do the same movement in number 2. Come to here and then just release it into a Yokomen cut. Now, in this case, don't find the back. So just come this position, find the head, engage the hips, and then open it out. But I'm now going to come into a Yokomaruchi cut. So really feel you're going to engage the hips now in a kind of diagonal cut. Open to the top, roll through, just connecting to it with a Yokomen. Just that. So it's just a little bit open down. That's it. Good. I'm just going to change it so you've got a distinction in the movement. So in this case, do the same footwork, but release the left hand and come to this position. Come to this position here, and then just using the front of the head, come through into the Yokomaruchi. So it can be a little bit strange, come into the second Suburi. The tendency is for the body to go to Shonuchi work. So just feel, roll back, find this position. Just here, elbows nice and heavy, and then again, feel you engage the hip, and then find the Yokomaruchi here. There's a different kind of Suburi in this case. Rolling back, really engage through that, and find the Yokomaruchi that way. Let's try that movement. That's it. Once. Okay, in this case, this works a handwork and also the angle in the sword. So in this case, it's quite tempting to do something like that, into this kind of position, that kind of position. If I'm straight on with the camera, where the hand's basically in this kind of position. Now that's possible, but it actually opens out to a slightly different movement. It opens much more out to a kind of thrusting ski movement. So in this case, have the hand like this, so the hand comes into this position. Where basically the fingers are pointing up over this way. Now in this case, this functions a bit like a block. So the idea with this is that this part of the sword will defend the head. So if you imagine a strike coming in, which means I'm going to angle the sword not this way, but this way. And so it's quite tempting to come to this position, where basically I'm straight back. But I want to really engage into a diagonal with the hip this way, and then from here release it. There's much more now about working with these kind of diagonal angles, the block or the kind of kamae. This position is really in a kind of angle position. And from here, just release it. Yes, right. That's the whole. Good. You got it. Very nice. Good. Good. And then just take this into two directions. You're now going to do a rotation on the second cut. So you're going to roll back, find the yokonuchi, find the stillness, and then from here, roll right to the back. You're going to again roll to the left side. A little bit like what we did before, the sword was spiraling up. Now the sword's going to stay in this position and spiral this way. Spiral this way. So then you find this position, and then you step again. And again, you can just feel that you can either start again, roll to the back, find the cut, rotate, just do two yokomens and then come back to the start. Otherwise, you start to get super kind of wound up. Yeah. That's it, nice. And just focus, especially now in this rotation, it's much more difficult to maintain the balance. So just focus a little bit more on finding the ground through the body, draining down. Nice. That's it. Very nice. Good.
Michael,
Yeah.
after the cut you make your transition, or after the block you make the transition to the cut, do you leave your left hand guiding the ken, or do you release it completely and then grab it again?
In this case, yeah, I can release it. So in this case, it's going to slightly flow down. Oh, I don't know if you can see. You can't see it. Okay, in this position, and then as you release it, I'll try and check from there. As you release it, I'm going to come off. So I'm not going to kind of travel. I'm not going to travel down the blade in a way, because if you think about having a katana or something, I don't want to kind of remove that. I'm basically going to get stuck. So at that point, I release it, and then from here, I'm basically finding the hand, and then that. So it's got. I'm going to kind of slide down the handle of the sword, but I'm not going to slide down the blade in this case, or not going to slide down the sharp part. So in this case here, just look for the hand, and it comes into this way. Now sometimes it translates the fact that I'm going to kind of catch it. It's just going to kind of fall into the hand. But I'm basically in terms of the basic, I'm going to kind of something like that. Yeah, it feels a little bit more like this kind of hasso work, where basically in the fingertips, that kind of quality that you've got there from the hasso work.
Thanks.
Give it a try. Cool. Do that. Yes. Okay, good. And we're just going to finish with this flowing. So there's a really great old video from Saito Sensei, someone filmed in the 60s, I think, 64 or something. No, 70. I think it's the late 70s. No, the late 60s. And it shows Saito Sensei working with all the Bokken forms and the Jo forms and some of the taijutsu as well. It's a really great video. I'll share it in the group later. But the Bokken work, he basically does this movement. So I'm going to change it because he doesn't do this. I'm going to do my own. Comes this way, and then from here you cut. And then this is the key point. Is here now. You're not going to release it. You're just going to roll back and find the cut. That's it. It's nice and fluid now. You're not going to come to the blocking position. So just play a little bit. Find the first ones like this, really release down, find the cut, and then the second one really fluid, flow through, find the yokomen. This way. Just play with that. If you like, just play with it, basically engaging from the hip and flowing into it. Just that movement. So if you just want to work on that rotation because it's a little bit difficult, just play with that. And again, get this feeling. It says this calls you by your name, shock, and then you turn to them and you cut them down. But That's another story. This is another thing. But just get this in the whole body, boom, spirals, rotates, and then you cut. That's it. Much more of a spiral now. Yeah. So it really requires, this move's great because it really requires the center to be transmitting the spiral through the hands. That's it. Very nice, Catherine. Very good. Very good. Nice. Wow. Nice. Watch this video I'll show you later. You'll also see a little bit, it's like Saito Sensei is thinking through the movements. So it's like he's trying to figure them out in a way. Now the quality is incredible in terms of center work, but you can tell he's not got the structure of the Suburi set up yet. So he's not yet got the 7 Suburi. And later he does the 31 Gyokata, and it's not yet in the 31 Gyokata state as we know it. So you see a little bit, you can kind of thinking through it. So, but it's obviously, this is a movement that O-sensei would do a lot. So if you look at the old videos of O-sensei, this is the kind of movement he would do. Very fluid and very like a kind of whirling dervish, kind of boom through to the back. So just finish the last few. Just imagine, do this nice and slow, but really feel you can take this now into any direction. So just play a little bit with cutting Shomuchi Yokomen. And again, just get this feeling like something's behind or something's to the back, and just rotate and cut down. And just play a little bit. We've done these different rotations from the back side, from the front foot. Just feel you can kind of mix them all in. Just the last few moments. Also, there's lots of different kinds of rotations, but many ones. Okay. Nice. Just the last minute. So. And if you find a particular rotation difficult, just keep going back to it. Slow it down, lessen the focus, break it down a little bit. Nice. That's it. Nice. And as you cut more and more, hopefully you feel more and more free. You should feel a total kind of freedom to rotate any direction, cut any direction. This is really the practice of these kind of SHIHO GIRI, Apo GIRI. They're very formal, but they're really about flexibility of footwork. Being able to rotate any which way. Very nice. Oh. Push. Very nice. And we'll stop there before it gets so samurai movie. I'll share this video later, so it's a really super video. Really great. はい、どうもありがとうございました。
どうもありがとうございました。
Not Michael.